Hello, General Hospital today will reveal hints from the unfolding storyline on General Hospital suggests that Jocelyn Jacks may have inadvertently stepped into a perilous situation far more complicated than she initially imagined. Her anonymous tip, delivered with urgency and veiled in secrecy, could prove to be a lifeline for Emma Scorpio Drake, especially after Emma witnessed something deeply unsettling involving Anna Devane at Windermere. While the full scope of what Emma saw has not been made clear, the emotional undertones of the scene strongly imply danger. The show's mounting tension leads to the critical question: will Jocelyn find herself trapped between the instinct to speak out and the threat of what might happen if she does? Jocelyn's concern has been growing steadily, especially after her strange encounter with Jack Brennan during the storm. Brennan's resistance to her proposal of exploring the underground passages of Windermere, especially in the middle of a severe snowstorm, only heightened her suspicions. She reasoned that if there were ever a time to investigate without interference, it would be when the rest of the island's residents were likely seeking refuge on the mainland to avoid outages. Yet Brennan's decision to slow things down, his subtle change in demeanor, and his insistence on maintaining control over their movements began to feel more like deliberate obstruction than cautious concern. Still, Jocelyn's instincts were not so easily dismissed. Her gut told her something was wrong, something far more dangerous than anyone else seemed willing to admit. While Brennan may have had plausible reasons for avoiding the catacombs, his urgency to stop her seems driven by more than just safety. The cold tension between them during the stormy ride only made her more determined to dig deeper, even if that meant putting herself at risk. The act of slowing down in a storm seemed almost symbolic, a tactic to buy time or reroute attention elsewhere. To Jocelyn, it felt like a warning cloaked in paternal charm. In the GH promo for the week of January 26th to 30th, we see Jocelyn peering through binoculars with intensity, her gaze seemingly fixed on Windermere. The image is haunting, a young woman searching for answers, breathing the cold, both literal and emotional, trying to decipher what shadows lie behind those darkened windows. The binoculars symbolize not just surveillance, but insight, a longing to see beyond the lies and fear that have enveloped Windermere for months. What exactly is she seeing? The answer isn't immediately clear, but her expression suggests a mixture of dread and determination. Jocelyn may already be in over her head. If Emma received the anonymous tip and begins connecting it to her own recent observations, then the two girls may soon realize they're on the verge of unraveling something sinister. However, Jocelyn's position is delicate. She is alone in her suspicions, uncertain of who to trust, and dangerously close to revealing what she knows to the wrong person. There's a quiet desperation in the way she's maneuvering now, seeking information without revealing too much, sharing truths in fragmented pieces, hoping that someone will piece them together before it's too late. The possibility that Anna is in danger makes the situation even more urgent. If Jocelyn truly saw something or someone at Windermere that night, her decision to stay silent could cost lives. On the other hand, if she speaks up too directly, she could paint a target on her own back. The storm may have passed, but the atmosphere remains charged with threat, secrecy, and the haunting sense that something is very wrong within the walls of Windermere. Jack Brennan's cryptic behavior, Anna's sudden disappearance from the public eye, and Emma's haunted look after her visit all point towards a larger scheme, one that may have involved brainwashing, captivity, or betrayal at the highest levels. Jocelyn's determination to uncover the truth despite Brennan's efforts to deter her paints a powerful picture of courage under pressure. Yet she is still just one young woman, respectful, yes, but isolated. Her actions in the next few days could shape the course of the entire arc. If Emma receives the tip and manages to decode its meaning, she may become the only ally Jocelyn has left. But even that is uncertain, especially if danger is already closing in on them both. As viewers, we're left to wonder, is Jocelyn truly safe, or has she already been marked for knowing too much? The silence in the air after the storm speaks louder than words. Windermere looms like a fortress, keeping its secrets buried deep within its cold stone walls. But the determined gaze of Jocelyn through those binoculars suggests that someone is finally ready to drag those secrets into the light no matter the cost. The General Hospital promo for the final week of January offers a chilling visual that sends the storyline hurtling into deeper territory, a pair of men's shoes stepping into the room where Anna Devane is being held. Though brief, the image suggests something significant. Anna is not simply being observed, she is being handled. The camera lingers just long enough to imply that Anna is about to be removed from the confined space where she has been imprisoned, potentially to be transported elsewhere now that the blizzard has passed. This revelation casts a shadow over Jocelyn Jax's quiet surveillance and raises the stakes considerably. From what we've seen, Jocelyn has positioned herself as a silent observer perched at a distance with her binoculars, tracking Windermere like a predator who understands she cannot afford to pounce too soon. Her instincts tell her that something is gravely wrong, and every clue she gathers reinforces that belief. But witnessing Anna being dragged away, possibly unconscious or restrained, would catapult her into a dangerous dilemma. If Anna is indeed being relocated, Jocelyn might be the only one aware of her trajectory. That moment, watching from afar with limited power to intervene, may haunt her if she fails to act. However, the situation is layered with peril. Jocelyn is not merely a concerned bystander. She is believed to be operating undercover in a role that demands discretion, strategy, and a careful dance between truth and deception. If the opportunity to rescue Anna ever presented itself, there is little doubt that Jocelyn would seize it. Her loyalty, especially to those she considers family or moral anchors in her life, runs deep. But the reality is far more complex. The scenario may not be one where Jocelyn sees Anna clearly or has any window to intervene directly. If all she sees is Anna being escorted or dragged away by a shadowy figure, that might be the extent of the information she can glean in the moment. She might be forced to rely solely on the image of the shoes, the direction they were headed, and the emotional weight of that helpless realization. The psychological toll of such a moment of knowing something, of seeing something, but being unable to act would only deepen the character's arc. All of this intersects with recently unearthed details from 2026 GH storylines yet to air. In a tantalizing interview with TV Insider, co-head writers Elizabeth Corte and Chris Van Etten teased major upcoming developments that tie directly to Anna's arc and the Scorpio family legacy. They revealed that Emma Scorpio Drake will come rushing in for a rescue alongside Mac and Felicia when Anna resurfaces. But it's the choice of words that truly raises eyebrows. They use cited to describe Anna's emergence, a deliberate term that seems to align perfectly with Jocelyn's silent observation through binoculars. The link is subtle but potent. Could Jocelyn be the one who cites Anna first, triggering the rescue that Emma, Mac, and Felicia eventually carry out? If that's the case, then Jocelyn's role becomes even more pivotal. The burden of decision, what to do with the knowledge she possesses, who to trust, when to speak, becomes heavier. As someone currently embedded in a covert role, she cannot act impulsively. Every move she makes could compromise her cover or worse, alert the very people who wish to keep Anna hidden. And among those people, Jack Brennan stands out. While he has outwardly played the role of protector and strategist, Jocelyn's trust in him has eroded. Her decision to withhold critical information may stem directly from her growing suspicion. That suspicion solidified after she eavesdropped on Brennan's conversation with Ross Cullum, a figure whose name sends a chill down the spine. Ross, a shadowy and possibly rogue director within the WSB, exudes menace beneath a calm exterior. Whatever was said in that secretive exchange, it clearly signaled to Jocelyn that Brennan is not the ally he pretends to be, or at least that his loyalties are more complex than they appear. The fact that Brennan continues to place the mission above all else confirms Jocelyn's fear that Anna's safety would not be prioritized if left in his hands. This is where Jocelyn's internal conflict deepens. She must now weigh the dangers of staying quiet against the risks of speaking up. Trusting the wrong person could jeopardize Anna's life and potentially her own. Remaining silent, however, may mean losing the one chance to intervene. As a young operative, Jocelyn is being forced to make decisions that even seasoned agents would struggle with. The loneliness of her position, the isolation of her knowledge, and the pressure of navigating adult games of power and deception are beginning to take their toll. The next move is hers. If she truly has sighted Anna, she may be the only person with current intel on her whereabouts. The question now becomes, will Jocelyn act as the silent trigger that sets off a larger rescue? Or will she be forced to go rogue, defying Brennan, disobeying orders, and placing everything on the line to do what she knows is right? The echoes of her decision may reverberate far beyond her own life, shaking the foundations of the Scorpio family, the WSB, and the loyalty of those who once called themselves allies. As the fog over Windermere begins to clear and the storm recedes, what remains is a treacherous web of misdirection, danger, and hidden truths. And somewhere in the middle of it all, a girl with a pair of binoculars might be the only one who sees clearly enough to change everything. Perhaps one of the most compelling possibilities moving forward on General Hospital is that Jocelyn Jax may once again resort to anonymous communication to pass along critical intel, particularly to someone she trusts, like Emma Scorpio Drake. After all, this wouldn't be the first time Jocelyn used covert messaging as a tool for subterfuge and protection. Viewers will recall how she previously rerouted Professor Henry Hank Dalton's secondary lab location without alerting any official channels, relying instead on coded digital methods to pass that information discreetly. That level of initiative, combined with a growing sense of danger surrounding Anna Devane, suggests Jocelyn might take similar action now that she's seen disturbing signs through her surveillance of Windermere. The idea of Jocelyn sending Emma another anonymous message carries significant weight. Emma, now back in Port Charles and emotionally invested in Anna's safety, would likely be more responsive to a subtle tip than anyone else, particularly if it comes in the form of coordinates, a timestamp, or a cryptic warning she instinctively knows how to decode. The use of indirect communication offers Jocelyn a path to involvement without compromising her own safety or exposing the sensitive source of her knowledge. It would also give Emma a reason to take action quickly, possibly bringing Mac and Felicia into the loop for a full-on search or extraction plan. However, time may be running dangerously short. There's also the alternative and perhaps more logical route of contacting the authorities. Jocelyn could, under the cloak of anonymity, inform the PCPD of suspicious activity at Windermere. This would introduce a formal investigation without tying her directly to the information. But even that option comes with significant risk. If Brennan Cullum or another faction within the WSB were to intercept the tip before it reached trustworthy hands, the mission could be compromised entirely. In a scenario where surveillance, betrayal, and rogue agents are in play, the line between allies and enemies has become almost indistinguishable. Jocelyn is aware of that, and it's why every decision she considers is laced with hesitation. The most frightening possibility, of course, is that Anna may already be gone. By the time Emma, Mac, and Felicia are able to mobilize, Anna could have been moved to a secondary location or worse. The visual of her being dragged out of that dark room lingers, and the fact that her captor remains unidentified only deepens the urgency. If Jocelyn waits too long, or if her message falls into the wrong hands, then this moment where she could have intervened may be lost forever. That burden will weigh heavily on her, especially given her history of stepping in when no one else dared to act. Should Anna's disappearance become public knowledge, one name likely to emerge in the investigation is Jens Sidwell. Though not yet center stage in the narrative, Jens has been quietly building a reputation in the shadows, with a network of suspicious connections and rumors of involvement in classified WSB operations. If Jocelyn's surveillance or intel, no matter how subtle, helps tie Sidwell to Anna's captivity, the entire case could pivot in a new direction. Even if Anna can't be found in time, identifying Sidwell as a possible perpetrator opens a crucial line of inquiry. And yet, if the leaked storylines are any indication, the outcomes tied to this plot may be devastating. Hints suggest that the consequences of Anna's ordeal could leave emotional scars not only on her but on the entire Scorpio family. The rescue, if it comes, may not be clean or successful. There's an air of tragedy hanging over the mystery, a suggestion that what comes next will leave characters like Emma and Mac shaken to their core. The writers are clearly preparing for a seismic shift in Anna's story, one that will expose secrets, betrayals, and sacrifices none of them saw coming. The leaks surrounding upcoming GH episodes strongly imply that more shocking revelations about Anna are on the horizon. These will likely challenge the loyalties of long-standing characters, reveal deeper fractures within the WSB, and force once neutral players like Jocelyn to make impossible choices. What started as a surveillance moment with a pair of binoculars has evolved into a moral battlefield where silence can be as dangerous as action. The storyline is carefully constructing a slow-burning reckoning, one where the truth may not set anyone free, but instead unravel everything they thought they knew. As fans, we can only wait for what's next. But the tension is undeniable, and Jocelyn's next move could be the most important one she's ever made. Whether she chooses to reach out to Emma again, alert the police, or go entirely rogue, her actions are becoming a hinge point for the entire arc. Anna's fate, Jens Sidwell's exposure, and the survival of trust within the Scorpio family may all rest on a single anonymous message and whether it's sent in time.